What's going down, DJs? Hopefully, you all had a great final week of the preseason. Everybody made some money. I'm recording this early, so I'm not going to go over my picks from last week just yet. We can't recap them until the games actually happen. So, let's get into what I can give you, though, which is some Madden algorithm picks. We have already gone over the first week for these, so I'm going to go over those again. But I'm actually going to give you the first 3 weeks of the NFL per this Madden algorithm. And if you've been with us before, you've been watching the channel for a little bit, you know we do this every year. In the past, that Madden algorithm worked for about 4 weeks. What we've noticed over the last 2 years or so is that it's most accurate only over the first 3 weeks. So we're only going to do the 3 weeks. And at that, we're only taking a handful of teams, just not worth the effort of putting through all 32 teams, or it's not that it's not worth the effort. I don't have the time to devote to breaking down every single team for 3 weeks, because that's a bit of an undertaking if you want to know the truth. So what I was able to find, though, of the teams that I did work through. So for week 1, and we've gone over this before, Giants at Commanders. So Giants, and I want to talk about this one for just a second because the Giants are getting 6.5. The Madden line says that it should really be more like 3.5. So it should be closer to a field goal than a touchdown, is what Madden is telling us. And that is just strictly, if you don't know, the Madden algorithm is using exactly that. It's the Madden video games, the rankings from the players to create, like a point system, basically, where, hey, these players are worth X amount of points, and this is how much they should score, or this is how much they should score in relation to the other team. Madden's saying that they're about a field goal difference. And what that doesn't take into account, though, is that Washington has been dealing with all of this back and forth with their team, right? Brian Robinson just got traded last week. Who knows what's going on there? Austin Eckler, I'm assuming, is going to take a big chunk of this. I know JMC, or whatever you want to call him, Bill, he's going to be supposedly the star of this running back room. It seems like they're going to make him the starter, but as of the recording of this, has not been completely announced just yet. It just sounds like that's somebody that they're really expecting to use a lot. So between him and Eckler, we got to see what's going on there. And then secondly, they have not handled that Terry McLaurin issue yet. They still have a ways to go. It sounds like that's, even if they were to sign him and he's actually in the game for week 1, who knows how great that's going to be. He has not practiced. He has not been in preseason. He's obviously he's a great player, but it's going to take a little bit to knock some of that rust off, and I don't think that, running wind sprints on the sideline is going to exactly do that. So they have some issues with that offense. And then on top of that, yes, you have a Deebo Samuel. This is going to be his first real live action, obviously, as a Washington Commander. And it's going to take a little bit, I think, to just kind of get 100% of this playbook down for him, because I'm sure they want to use him in a million different ways. Jaden Daniels is still going to be great, but that defense still looks a little suspect, just like it did last year. That was one of their bigger issues. There's a lot of little stuff here. Now, on the flip side of that, the Giants, obviously no one is expecting them to come out and be world beaters. However, Russell Wilson has actually played in the preseason. They have not had these negotiation issues. All of their starters are playing. Malik Neighbors had, a quote-unquote injury in the preseason, but he was getting, reps in. He got practice time in. It's not like he's coming off, from doing nothing like a Terry McLaurin. I mean, he has been being used basically in practices and things like that. Even if it was just for the last week or 2 weeks, or if it's just walkthroughs, he's at least in their system. Then he's at least a little bit more polished than like a Terry McLaurin, who has not been doing that at all with the team. So that's ready to go. Their defensive line looks really good. I mean, they have one of the best defensive lines. Abdul Carter, the rookie, yeah, he's gonna of course take a couple games or whatever to really get acclimated to the NFL. But the guy is a stud. He's going to come out. He's going to do what he does. The secondary is a little weaker. But with the better quarterback play, I really think that's all that Brian Daboll has been missing from this team. This guy took Daniel Jones and a bunch of nothing to the playoffs 2 years ago and beat a Vikings team who was expected to just, whip their ass. And so Brian Daboll is a really good coach. If you've been watching it for a while, you know that I love that guy. I think he's awesome. He's a great game planner. He just did not have a coach, or he did not have a quarterback to work with. And now whether you put Russell in there or Jameis Winston or even Jackson Dart, everybody is going to be at least 1 to 2 steps up from what you're working with Daniel Jones. So I'm very, very high on this first game in particular. To take it one step further, there are a lot of people choosing this Washington team as their survivor pick, right? They're doing the survivor picks, they're doing the company pools and whatever else, and everyone's going Washington. Not to say that doesn't ever work out, but if you want to fade the public, I mean, you're definitely doing it if you take the Giants. So if you want to follow me with this one, usually what I'm going to do is I'm going to put about 80% of unit size on the points, right? So you take the Giants plus 6.5, and then the other 20%, put that on the money line. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but if it does, you're going to maximize what you make. And if it doesn't, if they just get the cover, well, then you at least, you're going to still come out ahead, but you can really maximize assuming that they win, because you never want to take a dog that you don't think can outright win. So give me the Giants plus the 6.5, and then a little bit on the money line. Now the Ravens and the Bills, also a week 1 game. The rest of these are going to go a little bit quicker, obviously. The line is 1.5, or the Ravens getting 1.5. Madden line says that it should really be more of like a pick 'em. The Ravens, you can either take them the money line if you want to do that, or if you want to tease that up. Ravens have lost, I believe it's 2 games by more than a touchdown since Lamar Jackson has been the starter of that team, or when he's healthy. So if you want to take the tease and get it up to 7.5, you got obviously a really good solid leg of that teaser to start off with. So then you just got to find the second leg. Titans at the Broncos, Titans 7.5. Now this is kind of similar to that Giants game in that you have a lot of people taking the Broncos for their survivor pools, for their week 1, office pools and whatever else it may be. This, not to say that the Broncos aren't great, I think that they are, but I've said it before, Sean Payton, and I love the guy as well, he's one of my other top 5 coaches. He struggles with rookie quarterbacks, and I wish I was a better correlation there. There's really not anything solid, so this is just something that I've seen, something that I've put together by watching these games. There's not a metric that I can tell you hey, obviously he's not the defensive coordinator, right? But something happens when he plays rookie quarterbacks. I don't know if he's maybe taking his foot off the gas offensively because he thinks he doesn't score any points, or if he maybe has a hand in the defense or what. But if you look back, all the way back to when he was with the Saints, not to say that he always lost, but rookie quarterbacks tend to have a decent showing. Really, any quarterback that just doesn't have a lot of film out there, hasn't got a lot of starting time or playing time, they tend to do a little bit better than usual, or what you would expect against a Sean Payton team. So the Titans plus a 7.5. I have not pulled the trigger on that one just yet, but what I will like here is going to be the Cam Ward rushing props, and we had talked about that earlier as well. I would expect Cam Ward to have a pretty decent day this first day, and that's saying something, because that Broncos defense is rated number 1 in a lot of places. So that you should be able to get a pretty low line on a lot of those props once they come out. But that's it for week 1. Week 2, again, we'll speed it up just a little bit more here. Falcons at the Vikings. The Falcons plus 4.5. The Madden line says that it really should be about a half a point, or like a pick 'em. So the Falcons, if you want to take that, there's a pretty good value there. Giants at the Cowboys. Similar here. It just seems like the Vegas or the line makers here have Giants a little undervalued from what they should be, because they are having the Giants plus 4.5. Madden says that it should really be Giants plus 2, so less than a field goal. So you're involving a key number there, so definitely get on the Giants plus the 4.5 there. Panthers at the Cardinals. Panthers plus 4.5. Madden says it should be 3 exactly. So again, because you are right around that key number, definitely look at the Panthers plus the 4.5 in that game. 49, and that's another one I could see the line go up, especially because the Cardinals should put an ass whipping on the Saints. I could see that number get up to 5.5, and I wouldn't be super surprised. So take a look at the Panthers in that game. But 49ers at the Saints. The Saints are currently getting plus 7. Madden says that it should really be more of like a 3-point spread there. And, that's probably one I don't really know if I'm going to pull the trigger on. One thing that I do want to mention here with this Madden line is, again, it's all, based off of the rankings of players, not necessarily the coaches, as the theory is coaches have not had enough time to put in their own little, quirks and kinks and things like that into their offense or defense just yet. So you're really good these first 2-3 weeks of the season. It's really a lot of So that's kind of where you're coming from, and why we think that this is successful and why it has proven to be successful. And so that Saints team, there's too many unanswered questions there. One of them being that there is really not a whole lot of what we know with Kellen Moore. We know he was a good offensive coordinator, but we don't know what he's going to be as a head coach, right? You have quarterbacks in there that are either brand new in Shuck, or the other two who we only saw in limited capacity last year. We know that they're not good, but to quantify that with a ranking, we have no idea how accurate that is. There's a couple other pieces there that are either new or old or whatever it may be. As an older, even like Alvin Kamara, there was reports that he was going to get cut. So some of these rankings that are out there, I just don't entirely trust it on the Saints. So while Madden is saying that, hey, this is an underrated team, I can't put 100% faith in that. So I'm probably not going to really touch that one. But it's there if you want to look at it. Seahawks at Steelers. Seahawks 2.5 point dogs, and it is saying that the Madden line is saying they should be 1.5 point dogs. So some value there, not a lot, just because it's not a key number involved. Lions at the Ravens. The Ravens are 3.5 point favorites, and Madden is saying they should really be more of like a 5 point favorite. The same thing here. Yes, there is some value, but it's not a whole lot because it's not really, you're not crossing the 3 or the 7. Colts at the Titans. Colts are 1.5 point dogs, and this is saying it should really be more of a pick 'em. And I gotta say that's probably something I agree with there. The Titans with Cam Ward, weeks 1 through 5, rookies have really struggled. And again, I apologize, I don't have the data right in front of me, but I can tell you that weeks 1 through 5, rookies are about a 36% win rate, so they don't win a whole lot. And there's not as far as we know right this second as of recording, there's not another rookie that's going to be starting. So if we're expecting Cam Ward to get a 30, let's just call it 40%, we'll round it up, win rate out of the first 5 games, we're only expecting him to win 2 games. So, and that may even be on the high end because the Titans overall are not, world beaters. So I would even venture to say we're really only expecting him to win 1 game. And so if he wins that Broncos game, we're definitely fading the shit out of him the rest of the first 5 weeks at least. Lastly here is Cowboys at the Bears. Cowboys are 3 point dogs, and it says they should actually be 1.5 point favorites. So that is something that's a pretty good chunk of value there. If you're going to go from should be a favorite to we're making them a dog, that is a huge jump there. Now, I'm not saying that I will necessarily be all over that game, as I do think Ben Johnson is a really good coach. But again, that is another game where there is just a number that we really don't have a great way to quantify when it comes to brand new head coaches, right? We don't know what he's going to look like. We don't know how quickly that team is going to start clicking, because I do believe that when the Bears get going and when they start clicking, now they have the right coach. They have the adult in the room. They have the talent. They had the talent last year. And now they've just kind of shored up that offensive line. And Micah Parsons, who knows if he's going to ever step foot on the field for the Cowboys again, and specifically in this game. I don't know if I can follow this one either. But this is kind of the list. Like I said, there's a couple games in here where I'm really high on it, and I really appreciate having this. But just, again, some notes on the Madden algorithm. Number 1, definitely look at the outside stuff that we are not 100% sure of as far as rankings and coaches and things like rookies and things like that. And then number 2, pick your spots, because you don't have to necessarily bet every single one. Bet the ones that you feel best on. Bet the ones that you have other angles pointing you towards. And then lastly, guys, if you are going to make these bets, if you are looking at least one of these games on here, use Bookmaker. Just go ahead and get the bonus. Put it in there. I'm going to put the link below like we usually do. It's 100% free play on your first bet, on your first wager, with a 1-time rollover. I've said it before. I'll say it again. You're not going to find it anywhere else. I'm going to put it in the link. Just sign up. Even if you don't want to use them, or if you have another book right now, that's fine. Use it, because you are going to get the sharpest lines at Bookmaker. So if you have another book that you're using, you go ahead and keep doing that, and you can waste your money, I guess. But by having a Bookmaker account, you can go ahead and see those lines, get a quick real-time action, and see what the sharp books look like, because you're usually going to at least have the advantage of about a 30-minute to maybe even an hour or 2 difference from when the sharp books move to when the square books move. And then lastly, on that, we also have Oddsjam, which is going to be helping us out this year. Oddsjam, if you're not familiar with it, they do monitor books and the lines across the board for over 30 different books. It's going to tell you which is the best line as far as like what's the best price and the best number. And then secondly, it's going to give you all the arbitrage that you can handle. Anything that pops up, even if it's like minus 1,000 plus 1,100 type of deal, it's going to be on the website. Take a look at Oddsjam. I'm going to put that in the link below as well. Oddsjam has been around for several years. I know there's a few other places now that are starting to do kind of like a similar service. Oddsjam is the original. They are the fastest. They are the best as far as I'm concerned. And then lastly, they did add one last piece to their puzzle, is they are actually giving you EV plays now. So before it was just kind of like, hey, here's the best lines and here's some arbitrage situations. But Oddsjam is now also creating their own EV models. So they are going to give you, hey, this is a 2% EV play, a 5% EV play. That's something that you may want to look into. You may want to monitor, or you may want to just keep watching videos to take the picks. But the EV plays are pretty solid. And if nothing else, they at least give you a math model as to why a pick is, solid, or why it's maybe a negative EV. But take a look at those two guys below. You will not be disappointed. As a user myself, I can tell you, very solid companies, no complaints whatsoever. But thank you again, guys. I will speak with y'all soon, and we're going to keep getting ready for week 1. Make sure that we have everything in the bag. Make sure that all the tickets are in our pocket, and be ready to rock. So thank you again. Y'all have a great day.